Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Colin, 42, was named the host of the new pop culture Jeopardy! On Amazon Prime this week, giving Ken, 50, sudden competition. Ken, the GOAT contestant who won a record 74 straight games, became Jeopardy's permanent host after mayim bialik was dismissed in December. Ken is now the official and only host of the nightly or syndicated show and has helmed all specials since. However, his newly minted status as the franchise's only frontman didn't last long. Colin was picked to host the streaming-only pop culture spin-off, which goes into production this month. Premiere date TBA. Ken has nicely settled into his role hosting the syndicated show and is looking to channel Alex Trebek and do so in the long run. However, a top-level Sony source claimed that the former champion should be cautious now that Colin has entered the Jeopardy universe. They said Colin could fully take over Jeopardy, including the syndicated show and specials, not because of Ken's mistakes, but if the fanbase or ratings turn on him. Knowing the leadership at Sony Pictures TV, the last reason they would fire Ken Jennings is because of on-air mistakes, the source explained. It's not a live show, it's taped well in advance, and therefore, mistakes are just as much, if not more, the producers and writers' responsibility as they are Ken's. Instead, the only real reason to replace Ken is if the ratings took a nosedive, and that hasn't happened yet, they added. The show is holding steady. The U.S. Sun previously reported that Ken does not have a long-term contract for his $4 million hosting job. One sign his position isn't set in stone. Of course, Ken wants to do this for the next 20 years, but he's going to have to get comfortable with only being renewed 1 or 2 years at a time for the foreseeable future. Sony is keeping him in the hosting job, but they are also keeping their options open. The source added that if Jeopardy were 100% sold on Ken, he would be named the permanent host of all specials like Celebrity Jeopardy, which hasn't happened. Ken is only the official host of the syndicated show, and Celebrity Jeopardy was recently renewed without a host attached. Yes, if they truly had 100% confidence in Ken, they would tap him for their primetime and celebrity editions, which they have decidedly not done. But Ken is still finding his groove on the syndicated version of the show, and Sony is letting him become the de facto face of the franchise. For now, Ken was recently nominated for his second Emmy for Best Game Show Host, and many fans felt the nod was partly due to how he handled the most recent season. Season 40, which finished airing in July, was littered with fill-in tournaments because of the WGA strike, making it challenging to navigate as viewers. The source explained why there were so many tournaments, but that the change-up didn't reflect poorly on Ken. They're doing the tournaments because they get ratings, as does featuring returning champions. It's a tactic to keep the numbers stable when over-the-air TV viewing is declining. The advertisers love them, and that tends to drown out viewer complaints. The overall franchise is not in jeopardy because it still makes money on television and is a special kind of cash cow because it reliably generates spin-offs and merchandise on a global scale. Jeopardy is going anywhere because the economics are so powerful, and it's been a cornerstone of Sony TV's profitability for so long. Still, the source noted that the Jeopardy franchise made a hard pivot away from Ken by tapping Colin to anchor its pop culture spin-off and also explained the reasoning. It really looks like a massive no-confidence vote in Ken by tapping Colin Jost, but there's other factors going into this move. For one thing, the top Sony Pictures TV execs right now are actually veterans of working at NBC and go back to the 2000s with Colin and his team. In some ways, he is much more of a known commodity to these executives than Ken. They really know what Colin is capable when you let him do his thing. But timing is also a factor. Along with this Jeopardy gig, Colin is hosting some of the Olympics coverage this summer and is clearly branching out from his SNL duties. He wasn't even available for this kind of work a year ago.